Breaking news. Hulk Hogan is dead at age 71. Hollywood was devastated today when the news of the late WWE star had passed away unexpectedly early Thursday afternoon. Celebrities such as The Rock, Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and many others took to social media to pay their respects. Today, we will go over every celebrity's reaction to the devastating loss of a pop culture icon. The first condolence to hit Instagram was many people's way of finding out the heartbreaking news. Sylvester Stallone posted a grainy Rocky III Polaroid writing, "He lifted me and the whole franchise above the ropes." Within minutes, Arnold Schwarzenegger saluted the quote, "only man who could outpose Mr. Universe," while Chris Hemsworth unearthed a selfie beside a rack of yellow and red dumbbells, captioned, "Still waiting for your coaching text, brother." Quentin Tarantino called Hogan's ring entrance pure grindhouse thunder, and Kevin Smith confessed he rewrote a Clerks monologue just to shoehorn in a Hogan reference. Musicians amplified the mourning. Diplo reminisced about a Miami set Hogan introduced. Punk legend Travis Barker posted a black and white flex shot beside his son, and country star Lee Greenwood shared a flag-draped backstage photo, dubbing Hogan the loudest patriot I've ever met. Even social media wildcards piled on. Jake Paul tweeted, "What the F, brother? Thanks for every pep talk. Rest easy." Tributes sliced across generations. Elijah Wood remembered Hogan as an 80s fixture even if you never watched a single match, while Piers Morgan praised the gentle giant behind the growl. Politicians weighed in. Former President Donald Trump recalled Hogan's electric RNC speech, and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis ordered Tampa's arena lights to glow red and yellow all night. By sunset, "Thank You Hogan" had soaked every feed from TikTok to LinkedIn, proof that Hulkamania's reach stretched far beyond turnbuckles and title belts. Yet as Hollywood scrolled and sobbed, the wrestling world was quietly preparing a farewell that would feel more like communion than spectacle. It was still dark over Clearwater when a frantic 911 call blasted across dispatch. Unresponsive male, possible cardiac arrest. Sirens sliced through the quiet streets, racing toward Hogan's beachfront mansion as wife Sky Daly fought to keep his pulse alive. Paramedics found the 305-pound icon limp on the bedroom floor, his trademark bandana tossed aside like a spent banner. They worked CPR nonstop all the way to Morton Plant Hospital, but at 8:15 a.m., doctors faced the unthinkable. Terry Bollea's heart had quit for good. The timing felt cruel. Just weeks earlier, he'd flaunted X-ray selfies from a 4-level neck fusion, bragging his ticker was stronger than ever. Friends joked he'd outlive us all. Instead, the man who spent 4 decades kicking out at 2 took his final count in a sterile ER bay. But that desperate ambulance ride was only the opening bell, because the coroner's early whispers suggest a far more chilling knockout blow is still waiting in the wings. The hospital's preliminary chart labels it cardiac failure, but insiders say the coroner has already circled a different culprit in red ink: toxicity. Hogan's medical history reads like a mechanic's parts list: 25 surgeries in 15 years, fused vertebrae, swapped hips, enough prescription painkillers to stock a small pharmacy. One technician leaked a single line: multi-drug interaction suspected. Another source whispers that a microscopic staff hitchhiked from May's neck fusion screws straight into his bloodstream, turning every heartbeat into a ticking clock. No official statement yet, but TMZ and Newsweek are betting the final report will blame a lethal combo of lingering infection and a pain pill cocktail too potent for even 24-inch pythons. If true, the Immortal one may have been felled not by age or injury, but by the very meds meant to keep him moving. And while doctors sift through blood work looking for the chemical that pinned Hogan's shoulders, fans are rewinding to the night Hulkamania itself exploded. Because before you understand how a legend falls, you have to know how he first shook the world. Flashback to January 23, 1984. Madison Square Garden shakes as a bronze cyclone rips his own t-shirt in half, hoists the WWF title sky high, and turns regional wrestling into must-see primetime. Overnight, lunchboxes, cereal ads, and Saturday morning cartoons explode with yellow and red swagger. Kids flex 24-inch pythons, parents hunt for action figures that vanish faster than concert tickets, and pay-per-view revenue rockets past anyone's wildest projections. 3 years later at WrestleMania 3, 93,000 fans roar as Hogan scoop slams Andre the Giant, an earthquake in spandex that cements wrestling as pop culture's newest titan. Hollywood can't resist. Sylvester Stallone casts him as Thunderlips in Rocky 3, and suddenly the Hulkster owns both the ring and the silver screen. Merchandise sales top $400 million by the early 90s, and MTV dubs him the loudest personality on cable. But the brighter the spotlight, the stronger the shadows that follow, setting the stage for a flood of tributes, confessions, and stunned silence from Tinseltown the moment the giant finally falls. Inside wrestling's inner sanctum, the noise collapsed into a sacred hush. Raw opened with a 10-bell salute, while the screens bled red and yellow, every chime echoing like a kick drum to the heart. The Undertaker marked the moment with a candlelit selfie beside an empty coffin, captioning, "For the brother who taught us all to rise again." John Cena flew overnight to Tampa, knelt at Hogan's bronze statue, and laced a pair of size 14 Air Force Ones across the base. "Never give up," scrawled on both toes. Seth Rollins hijacked the production truck to unveil a molten tribute video, promising, "Every pinfall tonight is for Terry." Triple H slid the classic winged eagle belt into a glass case, tweeting, "He carried this on his shoulders, we'll carry it in our history." Across the Gulf, AEW's Chris Jericho stopped mid-concert to lead a thunderclap chant of "Hogan, Hogan," while Japanese ace Hiroshi Tanahashi told reporters, "If you wrestle in color, thank Hogan, he invented the palette." Backstage at SmackDown, producers placed a lone red bandana on the gorilla position headset, a silent reminder that every pop, every pyro cue, every heartbeat of the show still whispers his name. Yet beneath the reverence, restless questions kept tapping the mat, because the shadows that once threatened to end Hulkamania never left the arena. And as the world grieves, those scandals are stepping back under the spotlight, ready to grapple with his legacy one last time. Hogan's fiercest rival never wore a mask. It was Backlash. The first tremor hit in '91, when he swore on national TV he was steroid-free, only to admit under oath that the vitamins were very real. Fans gasped, but the leg drop legend limped on. Then 2007 delivered a double suplex, a messy divorce that tore through his fortune, and a horrific car crash involving his son that splashed grief across every tabloid. Still, Hogan kicked out at 2. The darkest chapter arrived in 2015. A leaked tape surfaced filled with hate-laced language, and sponsors spreaded for the exits. WWE scrubbed his entrance music, pulled his merch, and pretended the Hall of Fame plaque never existed. For most icons, that's the final bell. But Hogan lawyered up, dropped the courtroom big boot on Gawker, and walked away with a $140 million verdict that stunned the gossip world into silence. 3 years later, WWE quietly opened the door again, and the backstage poppy got proved forgiveness can roar louder than condemnation. All the while, his body paid the price. Spine fusions, hip swaps, nerves so wrecked he once admitted he couldn't feel his feet. Sunrise became another main event, but he kept grinning through the pain, swearing Hulkamania would never tap out. That resilience powered every comeback, and it fuels the next twist, because the biggest role of his life was one Hollywood almost filmed but never finished. While lawsuits and surgeries hogged the headlines, Hollywood quietly sketched a redemption arc, a Netflix origin story with Joker's Todd Phillips at the helm and Chris Hemsworth inhaling 5,000 calories a day to mimic those mythic pythons. Sets were scouted, wigs tested, even a young Vince McMahon cast, until licensing Crossfire shelved the entire project overnight. Hemsworth called it the role of a lifetime, vanished faster than a 3-count. Now with the Hulkster gone, insiders say that same script is back on every studio boardroom table, this time pitched as a memorial that could drop by next summer. Yet beyond Tinseltown's unfinished love letter lies a quieter legacy the tabloids mostly missed. Hogan bankrolled Tampa children's wards, slipped cash to single-parent families at Clearwater diners, and granted more Make-A-Wish dreams than any wrestler on record, often refusing so much as a thank-you tweet. Those humble acts, once footnotes, are exploding across social feeds as strangers share receipts and selfies. If the biopic finally rolls cameras, it won't just chronicle the leg drops and lost fortunes. It will spotlight the secret generosity that kept beating long after the arena lights dimmed. And that double life of spectacle and service sets the stage for one last unavoidable question. What does Hulkamania even mean now that its creator has exited the ring for good? Hulk Hogan's heart may have thrown in the towel, but Hulkamania clearly hasn't heard the bell. From Hollywood royalty to indie guitarists, from late-night hosts to locker-room rookies, the outpouring proves his red and yellow afterglow still warms every corner of pop culture. Autopsy results are due any day now, and they could flip today's cardiac failure headline into something far more sobering. So stick around, because we'll break that story the minute it drops. Until then, tell us your first Hulk memory in the comments. Was it the slam heard round the world at WrestleMania 3, a Saturday morning cartoon cameo, or maybe a surprise handshake at a Florida beach shop? Hit subscribe so you don't miss the toxicology twist. And remember, heroes aren't immortal because they never fall. They're immortal because the stories never stop. Keep those stories alive, and we'll see you in the next round.